can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Eevee and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're gonna be talking about Black Panther number 14 by John Ridley and Jermaine Peralta. This issue threw me for a loop of everything that has happened in John Ridley's Black Panther, some of which I know people absolutely hate because they hate seeing their characters deconstructed. They hate seeing their characters changed in any way, shape, form, or fashion, or just their favorite characters being made to look fallible in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I found this part really interesting because it actually seemed like in the previous issue that Namor was coming to help Black Panther, that he reached his hand out, he reached across the aisle to pick up Black Panther when he was being beaten down by the Avengers, and Captain America was telling him to go back to Wakanda. But no, that's not what actually happens here. Namor's actually not here to help Black Panther. It's actually more here to help Wakanda, and that is why this is the biggest L I think Namor could ever have given Black Panther ever in the history of ever. In this issue, Namor reveals he's not there to help prop up T'Challa because that's not who actually reached out to him to come and help them. The one who actually did it was Prime Minister Folasade. She is the one who actually reached out to Atlantis to help them in their hour of need because, as Folasade points out, and rightfully so, a lot of this mess is T'Challa's fault. He was the one who came up with the sleeper agent program, Project Killswitch. He was the one who put those agents out into the world and trained them and had them tasked with the mission to take out world leaders and institutions if they ever got out of pocket. And it just so happens that one of those Project Killswitch sleeper agents was none other than his best friend Jai, and Jai defected in a roundabout way and basically took Project Killswitch away from T'Challa and decided to do with Project Killswitch what he deep down knew T'Challa would never actually do, and that's actually pull the trigger. Now, I know some people are probably gonna wild out even more about this. I feel like John Ridley's Black Panther is gonna be the run where people are gonna initially hate it in the time that it's out now, and then like fast forward like maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years later, and there's gonna be people who be like, yeah man, I don't know why people were hating on this run of Black Panther, it was fire. And it will very likely be a lot of the same people who are hating on it right now. I personally have no beef with it. I think the only real problem I have ever had with this comic is the dissolution of the relationship between Black Panther and Storm that Ta-Nehisi Coates had put back in place during his run on Black Panther. Either way, right now, Wakanda and Atlantis are now aligned with one another. Prime Minister Folasade is more than willing now to share secrets and technology of Wakanda with Atlantis, and kind of mirroring some events that just recently happened in Black Panther Wakanda Forever that just recently hit Disney+. There are also some hints and nods that kind of help connect this, not necessarily to the MCU, but have parity with the MCU. Where in the MCU, vibranium is a metal that's not just exclusive to Wakanda. Atlantis, or rather in the MCU, Talokan, has access to vibranium as well. And in this comic, it's even hinted that Atlantis has access to vibranium in some way, shape, form, or fashion just the same as Talokan does. Whereas when Shuri is working on a filter device to help block the signal that Project Killswitch will use to destroy the entire internet infrastructure of the planet Earth, when she reluctantly hands over the device to the Atlanteans, they immediately know exactly what to do with it, how to manipulate the vibranium that's being used in the device in ways that Shuri had never even thought of. Now, some will probably ask the question, why is Namor doing this? Why is he actually trying to stick the knife in T'Challa's back like this? And the reason is because T'Challa, well, for one, while it did seem like they were kind of getting everything back on track, it also kind of seems as though maybe that wasn't the case. And it's kind of why I wish more writers spoke to one another and, shared notes among one another when they're writing these stories, or at the very least, if writers just didn't go running off on their own to, tell their own story, sometimes have a little bit of continuity, because T'Challa and Black Panther have had this really back and forth, almost bipolar relationship where, during the Jonathan Hickman run, which technically that was by design, these two characters hated each other's guts, and yet they kept realizing that they were so much more alike than they ever wanted to give the other credit for, and that they actually could get along if they put their beefs aside. And once you get to Avengers, it kind of seems like maybe there's a chance for them to work everything out, and then other times maybe not. And you get to hear, and it's like, oh, maybe there is that possibility. Maybe they're finally gonna bank on it. And then come to find out, T'Challa still hates Namor for what he's done, and Namor, while he technically still hates T'Challa for the things that he's done, it's still kind of up in the air as to what the hell's going on. But as far as Atlantis and Wakanda are concerned, there is no beef. Prime Minister Folasade has forgiven all sins that Atlantis has committed against Wakanda, and Atlantis has forgiven Wakanda for all sins committed against Atlantis. No longer will the thousands-year war between Atlantis and Wakanda carry on, at least not under the leadership of Prime Minister Folasade and the leadership of Namor the Submariner. That said, don't trust Namor. He is a very shady individual. I'm pretty sure he has an angle to play in all this that we have yet to actually see. And whether or not any of this will play into the upcoming Evel Ewing run of Black Panther, because for those who don't know, she is actually relaunching Black Panther when she takes it over post John Ridley's 15th upcoming issue of the series, and she has already kind of said that a lot of the things that are in place right now, she is going to be doing her own thing with. And while she doesn't necessarily say she's undoing anything, she's definitely said she's going in some very different directions. But ultimately, what we know at this point is that Wakanda no longer wants anything to do with T'Challa. He has been outed. He is, by Prime Minister Folasade's own words, persona non grata. He is exiled from Wakanda, which is kind of funny considering I felt like he was already exiled from Wakanda, but now he is wholesale exiled from Wakanda. He is no longer to have a place there among the Golden City. Not just as a ruler, not just as a politician, but just period. Finito, done. And now that T'Challa has realized his place in all this, the way that Wakandans now view him, he's throwing himself into the fight against Jai almost as if he's willing to lay down his life to prove how much he cares for the Golden City that he once ruled. Seemingly running off to sacrifice himself at the end of this issue to Jai, or at the very least risk his own life to defeat Jai in order to save Wakanda and the rest of the world from Project Killswitch that was by his own making. But regardless of the situation, for as much as people may be angry at how T'Challa is being treated in all this, that he's kind of being sunned a lot in all of this, while I don't claim to know what Evel Ewing is going to do with the series, one thing I would love to see done with the series going forward after a relaunch is I would love to see a return to the era of Black Panther known as Black Panther, Man Without Fear, a time when Black Panther was taking over the duty of protecting Hell's Kitchen in the wake of Daredevil stepping down from his duty of protecting Hell's Kitchen in the aftermath of the Shadowland story arc, where Daredevil himself reached out to T'Challa and entrusted Hell's Kitchen to him. It's actually my favorite Black Panther run, if I'm being brutally honest, and depending on what Evel Ewing's going to do, whether she's going to continue the exile of T'Challa or going to go in a completely different direction, just undo everything, blow up that whole story and just do her own thing, that's another story altogether. But if she were in some way to continue this whole exile thing, I think that the two best places that she could go is to focus more on the intergalactic empire of Wakanda, which he does technically still have rulership over, or take him back to basics, have him go back to the street level, and I would love to see it. But that's neither here nor there. I know this comic has its haters, I know it has its fans too, but it's one of those deals, I just can't let a comic make me that angry. I refuse. Sometimes you just have to be willing to go with stuff. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube in 2023, and I can't do it without the help of you, Earth's mightiest subscribers of the present, and you, Earth's mightiest subscribers of the future. In the meantime, let me know what you thought about Black Panther number 14. Keep it plus ultra, and sound off in the comments.